Okay, this is Craig. Welcome to Cruising Off Duty. As you know from my logo, I'm a sailing predominant channel, but one tool I use all the time is my drone. So since it's winter and I can't sail, one thing I know a lot of you are interested in is drone videography. I use it in almost every episode, and I'm going to be using it in February when I go on a charter in the BVIs on a catamaran, so that'll be exciting. I'll bring my Mavic with me. But in the meantime, I want to do a little bit of a tutorial series on the Mavic. And one thing I see a lot of people doing, how to fly your Mavic and the proper settings and stuff like that, and I will do that as well in my series. One thing most everybody else is in a warm climate. I'll probably be the only guy you know that's flying his Mavic in -10 or colder. Today's -10, no gloves, it's pretty cold on the hands to do this, but I want to test whether the Mavic flies in -10 or colder, because the specs, if you read it, says to fly at 0 or up to 40 degrees Celsius, and this is Canada, so after mid-December you're never going to get a day that's above 0. So I'm going to fly the Mavic right now. I'm going to show you what's on the screen, and I'm going to superimpose the video I get from the Mavic as well. This will be a test for me as well, because I've never flown the Mavic for any extended period of time in this cold of temperatures. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so the Mavic's already set up. I've already calibrated it. There's the screen. There's two ways to take off. One is to put the two joysticks down into the bottom right and left corresponding way to get it to start, and one is to swipe up to take off. So let's do it the old-fashioned way. Let's put the joysticks down.
Take off.
And I'll start the recording by pressing this button up here. And so now it's recording, and I'm too close to that snowbank, so that's why it's doing that thing. So let's take off. All right, so it's recording. I'll superimpose the video from the camera. So I've flown out into the field a bit. I'm now going to raise it up a bit, and I'll do a bit of a pan. I'm just in this church, I guess, parking lot slash field, right across the street from my subdivision, which is just over there. That's where I live, in that subdivision there. So I'll raise her up a bit. Now it looks like it's a little out of focus, so I'll do tap to focus. There we go. Center focus. Now there you go. See, I should have done that right away as soon as I took off. That's something to learn with the Mavic. The C1 button is your center focus, and that's always the best bet. If you're not sure what you're trying to focus on, just center focus. And man, oh man, is it cold on the hands doing this. So, painful. Wind warning. So it's telling me right now that there's a lot of wind, and it is a pretty windy day. So that's the pan, and then the tilt down. There's the tilt down. And tilt back up again. Like I said, I've slowed down that from the factory settings, which was a bit too twitchy. I'll turn around again. It's windy on the ground level, but it's telling me it's really windy up there. So it might be buffeting the camera a bit. All right, and now the next thing I'll do is I'll come home. Oh, sorry, that distance 180 feet is how far away from me it was. The center number is the height. Sorry, it's 160, 150. I'll have to go back and look at the video what my height was actually instead of distance from me. So distance from me is 181. Height is now 70, 60 feet. I'll fly back over to me. And you probably see my car in the background. If I pan down a bit there, tilt down, there's me, there's my car, which is running, so it's nice and warm when I get back in. Also, in case the Mavic tells me it's too cold and I need to warm it up again, I got the car running. So, tilt it down a bit. There I am. And now just manually going to land it, bring it down. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hand take off and hand land. And then what you do is you just hold the thumbstick down. And then when it gets to a certain point, it'll kind of pause for a second. And then it'll know as you want to land, and it lands, and it turns the motors off. So there you're done. And I'll turn off that recording. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hand take off and hand catch. I tell you, it is freaking cold on the hands. Okay, so to hand take off, it sounds exactly like what it is. Put that down for a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it up like this, and I'm going to take off, and it's going to take off out of my hand. Taking off is actually not that hard to do. It's catching it when it lands is the more tricky thing. There we go. Like I say, it's not the easiest thing to do one-handed, but I'm just fly the drone over so you can see it. Taking off one-handed is not easy because you press this button here. That button there says take off, but then there's this little swipe across to agree that you want to take off, and that was what I had to kind of fumble with one hand, because you're holding this and you're trying to swipe with this at the same time. And to tell you the truth, my hands are freezing cold. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm recording right now, so I'm going to go up, I'm going to fly out again, and then I'm going to hit the home button. So instead of me manually flying, I'm going to fly out, and it should be interesting to see where it thinks home is, because considering I took off from my hand. But get out there a little ways. I am 394 feet away from me. I'm 26 feet off the ground. Now, when I hit home, it's going to go up a lot higher than 26 feet because it's just set up in the settings how high you want it to be. So I hit home. This is the button up here. And now the Mavic, as you'll see from the superimposed video, Mavic actually goes up higher than I had it originally, 26 feet. It's now at 60 something feet off the ground. It's turning around and it's flying back to me. Now, if I don't like where it's decided home is, I can always override this. It's flying back. It's trying to figure out where I was. It stopped there for a second. It's kind of a weird pause. Kind of flew back and then stopped. Now it's coming to what looks like pretty close to where I am. Okay. It's definitely not exactly where... Oh, it's backing up a bit. Maybe it's figuring it out. But, yeah, okay, it's doing okay. It actually went a little bit too far past where I took off from. And it's now coming down pretty close to where since I guess I don't need to show you the screen, I'll show you the drone. And it's coming down too close to my camera. So, back the camera up a bit here. There we are. And as you can see, it just comes down. I haven't done a thing with the joystick. It does it all by itself. It says, not suitable for landing. For some reason it doesn't like the snow-covered thing, but I'm going to say okay anyway. Well, I guess, no, the thing asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said okay, but I guess I timed out. So now I just have to manually, I wonder what happens if I hit home again. Let's try it. If I hit home again, what's it going to do now? Oh, there we go. It's saying not suitable for landing, but I'm going to hit okay anyway. Why it's saying it's not suitable for landing is beyond me. It's really, as you can see from the ground, it's actually a plowed surface. I guess it doesn't like the look of the ground. Here's another thing I want you to notice. My battery on my iPhone, which was at 94% when I first started, is already saying it's at 10% battery, which is a problem with the iPhone when it gets cold. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to manually land it by pushing the joystick down. It's going to go down until it gets there, and then it lands all by itself. So, definitely some issues. Like I said in a previous video, there's definitely an issue with my iPhone 6 Plus getting cold. The battery just dies really, really quick. I have plenty of battery. I've got 66% battery on the Mavic, and my controller has got lots of juice left. My controller says it's still nearly 100%. So the bottleneck in all this is my iPhone will not enjoy flying for any. There it is again. There's a warning. Does not enjoy being out in the cold, and it is freaking cold. So that's going to be an issue. I don't know how I can get around that. Maybe I'll have to put my Android little tablet I have as my screen instead of my iPhone if this is going to be a continuous issue. It proves that the Mavic itself didn't have any issues at all. I never got any warnings on the screen about it being too cold. I did get a warning that it's too windy, but yeah, what can you do, right? I wanted to show you this. So the Mavic, no problem at all flying. iPhone keeps telling me over and over again I'm below 10%. I know from trying this before. it'll tell me my battery is almost dying. Once I warm up my phone, my battery will go back up again. So it's an issue with the phone not liking to be cold. And there's really no way to get around it because it has to be mounted in this controller, which is completely exposed to the cold and the wind. There's no way to put the phone in your pocket to stay warm or anything like that. So I have a little Android tablet that I can try. That's my next thing. So subscribe to the channel. There's going to be more of these tutorials on the Mavic, and I'm going to do a bunch of stuff about waypoints, and I have a Lychee app I'm going to talk about. I'll talk about the settings I've changed to make the Mavic less aggressive when you're turning it for videography purposes. You don't want it twitching all over the place. It doesn't make for good video. So subscribe if you're interested in that sort of things. Please give the video a thumbs up. It helps a lot. I guess the way YouTube works nowadays, they want to see thumbs up, they want to see comments and things like that. So if you ever wonder why a YouTuber is always saying give it a thumbs up and leave a comment if you have any questions, is because they want to see engagement. They want to see viewers that are enjoying the content by putting thumbs up. They want to see viewers that are interested in dialogue, comments to the creators and to other people who are watching. So like I say, if you have any questions, leave a comment, helps the channel, leave it a thumbs up, and I appreciate all of that. Okay, I had a bit of a bonehead moment there. I took off from my hand at the church, as you saw, but then for some reason forgot I was supposed to hand catch it, and I did a return to home feature, which is going to be supposed to be a whole other episode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my Mavic on in my own driveway, and first, of course, take off the cover. It's going to be a very short flight because all I'm going to do is hand take off and then hand land it again. I already have the controller already turned on. Oh, of course, now it's asking me to calibrate again. I think I can skip that because I just calibrated it not too long ago. And it's going to be a very, very short flight. This is going to be strictly, I guess I should face the sun. It's going to be strictly a hand take off, fly over there like 20 feet, come back, hand catch it. Very simple. Only because I hand took off at the church and forgot to hand land. As you can see from the thing, this little button here is to take off without having to do the two joystick thing, but the only problem is you got to swipe, and that's like a point has been updated. Do it with the thumb, and it's a bit of a like hard thing to do, but yeah, it can be done. And if you're on a sailboat, you're going to need to hand take off and hand land. Okay, we're on the recording. Flying forward a bit. That's far enough, I guess, to get the point across. Now here's the thing that's going to happen. I've tried this before. The sensors on the bottom of your Mavic can see your hands coming up, and it actually tries to fight whatever's coming up at it, and it starts to go up. So you got to be real quick at it. You got to kind of come underneath, grab it, and hold on like hell, because the thing will fight you. It wants to take off out of your hand, and you're trying to hold it from doing that. While you're doing that, you got to take your joystick here with your one and only hand that's not holding onto a Mavic and push it down and hold it there. And eventually it realizes you want it to land, and it will land. Windy, you can see it's kind of zipping around over there. So, not the best to try and hand land when it's windy, but bring it down, bring it towards me. Probably the best thing to do is actually turn it away from me so it's not sensing me. Gotta sneak up on it. So here goes. Come up from behind, grab it, push down on the joystick, and wait for the engines to shut off. See what I mean there? You hear the engines really revving it up. It's because once you get your hand under the sensors here on the bottom, it realizes something's coming up at it. I don't know if it thinks it's a bird attacking it from below or what it's thinking it's doing, but it tries to fight to get higher, and obviously it should know the ground isn't coming up and trying to attack it. So I don't know why the software does that, but it does it, and be prepared. So when you grab it, don't just gently grab it. You got to kind of throw your hand up there, grab it, hold on for dear life, push down on the thing until the engine shut off, and then voila, you've hand caught it. It's not really that hard, and it's not really that dangerous because you're grabbing the body and you're nowhere near the props, but just, you know, still. Yeah, you know, just to be safe, I should say, kids shouldn't try this because you could reach too high and put your hands right into the prop, and that would be bad. So, anyways, like I said, had to throw this last little clip in there because when I was at the church, I hand took off and flew away, and then for some reason decided I was just going to land by hitting the home button, which wasn't really the point of my episode. Well, you live and you learn. Anyways, that's it for now. Okay, here I am. I'm in my office nice and warm now so we can talk without me freezing my fingers off. So the Apple iPhone is going to be an issue. So every time it gets cold, it says that the battery is super low, even though as soon as I got into my warm car and I plugged it into my car adapter, it instantly said I had 65% battery. So the battery really isn't dead, but when it gets cold, it thinks it's dead, and it really will shut off. I was out one time on a cold day and I had this on an exterior pocket of my coat, and I reached into my pocket to check if I'd had a text message I was waiting for, and the phone had shut itself off because it thought it was too cold. Same thing happened. I went and got in my car and plugged it into the cigarette adapter there, and within seconds it was telling me I had 65% battery. So there's definitely an issue with my iPhone. Now, the only other thing that I have that might see, it kind of fits in here, is this Acer Android tablet. So, looks a little silly, but if the Android tablet can actually handle getting cold and not actually die. See, I've now got 3 batteries for my Mavic, which was great, right? It gives me, what, like 45 minutes of flight time. But that doesn't help if my iPhone dies in 10 or 15 minutes. So, I'm going to try this on my next flight and see how it works having an Android tablet attached. I hear that this is like a 10-inch tablet, like an 8-inch tablet, or if you can find one of those small 7-inch Android tablets, it'll actually fit properly with the landscape this way instead of this way. So I haven't even put the DJI Go app onto this to see how it would look, or if it would look ridiculous. If my screen's going to be sideways the whole time, I'm going to have to like get used to looking at my camera from the Mavic sideways. So stay tuned for that on the next episode. We'll see if the Android tablet will actually work as a screen, and if it knows it's this way, whether the screen will actually be, right side up, or whether it'll be sideways. So that should be interesting. So anyways, that's it for this episode. I just wanted to again thank everybody for watching. The subscriber growth is impressive. It kind of plateaued there for a bit at the end of the sailing season. I have a bunch of footage of anchorages I never got to finish on the Ottawa River, and since my boat is going to be moved next season to the Thousand Islands, I still want to do what I promised, and that's cover off on those last 3 anchorages, pros and cons. But I know at this time of the year, in the Northern Hemisphere anyway, you lucky Australians who have summer right now, you keep rubbing in my face how it's like 36 degrees Celsius and you're enjoying sitting on a beach. Not fair. But long and short, Northern Hemisphere is where most of my viewers are. Just as a fun breakdown, 51% of my viewers are American, 8% are Canadian, 7% are from the United Kingdom, thank you very much. And surprisingly, my 4th highest country that watches my channel is Australian, at I think like 5%. And that's pretty good considering I checked the population density of Australia versus Canada, and my home country giving me 8 or 9% and Australia giving me 5% is pretty impressive considering the population of Canada is probably double the population of Australia from what I looked at online. So good on you for watching the channel. Maybe it's just because you enjoy seeing me struggle through cold winters, but whatever reason you're watching, I appreciate it. And also thanks to the United Kingdom. So what I've done is I've set up for some of the things that I've talked about, like I'm going to go into some of my camera gear and obviously Mavic stuff and kit that we can find on Amazon. What I'm going to do is put affiliate links for all 3 of those areas. Sorry, Australia, I don't have one for you, but I'm going to put the American links, the Canadian links, and the United Kingdom links in my descriptions from now on. So if I talk about a piece of kit that I've enjoyed using and you think it's something you'd want, go to the description. There'll be a link there on Amazon, all 3 of those Amazons. And if you go through that link, it doesn't cost you anything. It gets you to your normal Amazon. It's just Amazon knows how you got there. And from that, if you buy anything on Amazon as an affiliate, you get a few cents per dollar, which helps pay for the maintenance of this channel. Also want to thank the Patreons or the patrons who have, I just started that up, and who have joined the Cruising Off Duty patron account. And I really appreciate that. You're going to be my #1 focus for comments. I guess I have just a little over 5,000 subscribers at this point that I've been meticulous about. When people comment, if there's anything I can respond back, even if it's just a thank you for watching, I respond to all my comments. If the channel gets bigger and bigger though, it's going to get to the point where there's more comments than I can possibly respond to, so I'll only respond to the ones where there's a question. But Patreons will always be my first people that I respond to comments. So if you want to be a Patreon, go to patreon.com/cruisingoffduty, and you'll find the pros and all the features you get about being a Patreon. And know that you'll be my number one focus. Those people will always get my full and undivided attention in my comments, and then if I have more time after that, I'll respond to as many of my YouTube comments as I can. Watching is great, thumbs up help a lot, and comment is great as well. I like reading your comments. So once again, there's going to be more of these Mavic tutorials coming up. Anything you think you want to learn about the Mavic, leave it in the comments below, and I'll take that into account. The more people want to know about something, the more I'll do a whole episode on it. So anyways, thanks for watching. Subscribe so you don't miss any episodes, and I'll catch you on the next one.